I applied Warren Buffett's secret money rules for 5 years. Here's what happened. 5 years ago, I was drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, making every financial mistake you can imagine. Today, I'm about to reveal the exact 10 money lessons from Warren Buffett that didn't just change my bank account. They completely rewired my brain and transformed my entire life. But here's the twist that nobody talks about. The lesson that made the biggest difference wasn't about investing at all. It was something so simple, so overlooked, that when I tell you what it is at the end of this video, you'll probably kick yourself for not knowing it sooner. Stay with me, because in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to share the precise strategies that took me from financial chaos to financial freedom. And I guarantee at least one of these will be a complete game changer for you. Warren Buffett didn't become the world's most successful investor by accident. While everyone else was chasing get-rich-quick schemes, he was quietly building principles that would eventually make him worth over $100 billion. But here's what most people don't realize. His greatest lessons aren't just about money. They're about psychology, patience, and a completely different way of thinking about wealth that goes against everything society teaches us. I spent months studying not just his investment strategies, but his mindset, his daily habits, and most importantly, his failures. What I discovered changed everything I thought I knew about building wealth. These aren't just tips, they're fundamental shifts in thinking that will impact every financial decision you make for the rest of your life. And if you're serious about transforming your financial future, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because I'm going to be sharing more life-changing financial strategies that you won't find anywhere else. The compound interest revelation. The first lesson hit me like a lightning bolt, and it's the foundation everything else is built on. Buffett calls compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, but when I truly understood what this meant, it literally gave me chills. Here's the mind-bending part that nobody explains properly. Most people think compound interest is just about money growing over time. That's like saying the ocean is just water. The real power lies in the psychological transformation that happens when you truly grasp this concept. When I realized that every dollar I spent on unnecessary things wasn't just costing me that dollar, but potentially hundreds of dollars in future wealth, everything changed. Let me paint you a picture that will haunt your spending decisions forever. That $5 coffee you buy every morning, if invested at 10% annual return, that's not $5, it's $330 in 30 years. That $50 dinner out twice a week, that's $33,900 in future wealth you're consuming. Suddenly, every purchase becomes a choice between instant gratification and long-term freedom. But here's where it gets really interesting. Buffett started investing at age 11, and by his own admission, he started too late. Why? Because he understood that compound interest isn't just about money, it's about time. Time is the secret ingredient that transforms modest investments into life-changing wealth. The earlier you start, the less money you actually need to invest to reach the same outcome. This revelation changed how I viewed every financial decision. I stopped seeing investing as something for rich people or financial experts. I started seeing it as the most powerful tool available to anyone who wants to escape the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. The compound interest mindset became my financial religion, and it should become yours too. Because once you see money through this lens, you can never go back to your old way of thinking. The value investing mindset shift. The second lesson completely shattered my understanding of what investing actually means. Most people think investing is about predicting which stocks will go up. Buffett taught me that real investing is about buying pieces of businesses at prices below their true value. This distinction isn't just semantic. It's the difference between gambling and building wealth. When I started applying this principle, Something magical happened. Instead of checking stock prices obsessively, I started researching companies like I was buying the entire business. Because in reality, that's exactly what you're doing. You're becoming a partial owner of real companies with real products, real customers, and real profits. This mindset shift had profound implications beyond just stock picking. I started applying value thinking to everything in my life. That expensive car I wanted, I began seeing it as a depreciating asset that would drain my wealth. That house in the expensive neighborhood, I realized I was paying a premium for status rather than value. Buffett's value investing philosophy became a lens for evaluating every major financial decision. But here's the part that really blew my mind. Value investing isn't about finding bargains. It's about developing the patience and discipline to wait for extraordinary opportunities. Buffett famously said he'd rather buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. This taught me that quality matters more than price, and patience is more valuable than action. The psychological impact of this approach was unexpected. Instead of feeling anxious about market volatility, I became excited about market downturns. They represented opportunities to buy quality investments at discounted prices. This completely flipped my relationship with market crashes from fear to anticipation. Most importantly, this lesson taught me that successful investing isn't about being right all the time. It's about being right when it matters most. You don't need to hit home runs constantly, you just need to avoid striking out and occasionally knock one out of the park. This reduced my investment stress dramatically and improved my returns significantly. The circle of competence breakthrough. The third lesson was perhaps the most humbling and simultaneously empowering revelation of my entire financial journey. Buffett's concept of staying within your circle of competence initially seemed limiting, but it actually became the key to my most successful investments and life decisions. Before understanding this principle, I was like most people, trying to be an expert in everything. I was researching biotech stocks I couldn't pronounce, investing in cryptocurrency I didn't understand, and making financial decisions based on tips from friends who knew even less than I did. I was spreading my attention and capital across dozens of investments, thinking diversification meant confusion. Then I had my breakthrough moment. Instead of trying to understand every sector of the market, I focused on industries and companies I actually understood from my work and life experience. This wasn't about limiting myself, it was about maximizing my advantages. Suddenly, I could spot opportunities and risks that other investors might miss because I had real-world knowledge of how these businesses actually operated. The transformation was immediate and dramatic. My investment research became more thorough because I was studying businesses I genuinely found interesting. My confidence in my decisions increased because I understood the underlying fundamentals. Most importantly, my returns improved significantly because I was investing based on knowledge rather than speculation. But this principle extended far beyond investing. I started applying the circle of competence concept to my career, my side hustles, and even my personal relationships. Instead of chasing every opportunity, I focused on the ones where I had genuine advantages. This concentration of effort led to exponential improvements in every area of my life. The psychological relief was incredible. I stopped feeling like I needed to have an opinion about every stock, every trend, every opportunity. I gave myself permission to say, I do not know, and that's outside my expertise. This intellectual honesty became a superpower that protected me from costly mistakes and allowed me to focus my energy where it could have the greatest impact. Buffett taught me that admitting what you don't know is more valuable than pretending to. Your circle of competence might be smaller than you'd like, but within that circle, you can achieve extraordinary results that would be impossible if you were scattered across dozens of areas where you have no real advantage. The long-term thinking revolution. The fourth lesson completely revolutionized how I think about time, success, and wealth building. Buffett's famous quote, "Our favorite holding period is forever," isn't just an investment strategy. It's a philosophy that transforms every aspect of how you approach building wealth and living life. In our instant gratification society, thinking in decades feels almost radical. But when I truly embraced long-term thinking, everything changed. I stopped making decisions based on what would feel good today and started making decisions based on who I wanted to be and what I wanted to achieve in 10, 20, or 30 years from now. This shift had immediate practical applications. Instead of job hopping for small salary increases, I focused on building skills and relationships that would pay dividends for decades. Instead of buying things that would impress people today, I invested in assets that would provide financial freedom tomorrow. Instead of seeking quick wins in the market, I built positions in companies I believed would be more valuable in the future. The psychological impact was profound. Long-term thinking eliminated most of my financial stress because I stopped reacting to short-term market fluctuations. When you're thinking in decades, daily stock market movements become as irrelevant as daily weather changes. This patience became my greatest competitive advantage in a world obsessed with immediate results. But here's where it gets really interesting. Long-term thinking is not just about investing. It's about developing a completely different relationship with delayed gratification. Every time I chose to invest instead of spend, to save instead of splurge, to learn instead of being entertained, I was making a bet on my future self. These small daily decisions compounded into life-changing outcomes. The most surprising benefit was how this philosophy affected my relationships and career. When you start thinking long-term, you naturally gravitate toward people and opportunities that align with your long-term vision. You stop wasting time on activities and relationships that don't contribute to your ultimate goals. This focus created a momentum in my life that I never experienced before. Buffett taught me that in a world obsessed with quarterly results and instant gratification, having a 10-year vision is like having a superpower. While everyone else is fighting over short-term opportunities, you're quietly building something that will dwarf their achievements. The best part, long-term thinking gets easier with practice, and the results get more dramatic with time. These 4 lessons from Warren Buffett didn't just change my bank account, they completely rewired my brain for success. The compound interest mindset, value investing philosophy, circle of competence focus, and long-term thinking created a foundation for wealth that goes far beyond money. They became life principles that guide every decision I make. But remember that secret lesson I mentioned at the beginning? Here it is. Buffett's greatest lesson isn't about money at all. It's about developing the emotional discipline to do what's rational instead of what feels good. Most financial failures come from emotional decisions, not lack of knowledge. Master your emotions, master your finances. The transformation won't happen overnight, but if you commit to applying these principles consistently, your life will be unrecognizable in 5 years. Start with one lesson, master it completely, then add the next. Small, consistent actions compound into extraordinary results. The person you'll become through this process is worth more than any amount of money. Your financial freedom journey starts with a single decision to think differently about money. These aren't just Warren Buffett's lessons. They're your blueprint for building wealth that lasts. The only question remaining is, will you apply them? Or will you continue living the same way and hoping for different results? Don't let this be just another video you watched. Take action today. Choose one of these principles and implement it immediately. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make right now. The path to wealth is clear. The only thing missing is your commitment to walk it. If these Warren Buffett lessons opened your eyes like they opened mine, smash that like button and let me know in the comments which lesson hit you the hardest. Subscribe and ring that notification bell because I'm sharing more life-changing financial strategies every week that you won't find anywhere else. Share this video with someone who needs to hear these lessons. It could literally change their life. And don't forget to watch the next video YouTube is recommending, because I guarantee it will take your financial knowledge to the next level. Your wealth building journey starts now.